we have, which I know players are super excited for, extended
That better? That you should be able to hear me now, because the green bar is moving. Sweet. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Nobody else that has come into the stream has mentioned that at all. You gotta love it. Alright, so back to our adventure. Players have accepted a job to help a local church. One player will have knowledge of the job, and it will be up to them if they want to reveal details. Upon arriving by carriage, Father Jetty, the father at my church when I was a child, what's up, Justin? How you doing? Father Jetty greets the players. Man, I can't spell for diddly skadoodles today. Greets the players, inviting them into the church. Okay. Father will reveal that about 48 hours ago, he was chased out of his catacombs by a force of undead. He has barricaded the door and is enlisting the players to solve his undead problem. Like that. This is already, I like this better than the walk at dusk already. We're just jumping right into it. They're at the church. This is the problem. Let's solve it. There's not a lot of mystery. There's not a lot of like intrigue or anything like that. It's like, nope, there's undead. Go solve it. So for a first time DM adventure, hypothetically, the players are going to, they know what they have to do. Justin, you should have access. So this is the reason for the stream. So question on the way you're doing it. So when you go to your profile and you go to the way you are creating this character, are you going to characters and then going create a character? Like right here? Or are you going to campaigns, going to the campaign, like I will just pick view campaign, and then creating a unassigned character. Because when you create an unassigned character, this is in the campaign with the stuff that is shared with you. So hypothetically, you should have access through that, even though you might not have access already. Like just if you haven't bought the books in D&D Beyond and you go create a character, it might not allow you to do it there, but it would allow you to do it in the campaign. Okay, I think that's the issue that a lot of people have been having. If if you go in that way, are you in a spot that you can try it right now for me, just to make sure that you have access? Because I want to make sure you're good to go. All right. Delete my random character. No. Just want to delete you. Oh well. He can live there. Good evening, Luke. So Justin, let me know if that works for you, if you're able to get into the campaign that way, and have access to the farmer background. All right. Solve his undead problems. All right, I want a couple things that they can pull out of Father Jetty. I want, the classic insight checks. I want something for insight. I want something for religion. And maybe Arcana that they can get here. Because I want skill checks to be involved. I'm working on a couple different things, Luke. I have invited some of my players who are kind of working on their characters to ask any questions about character creation for an upcoming campaign that I run at my local game store. And I firmly believe that there is not a good first-time adventure for DMs to run in D&D. So I've been trying to create that adventure, and I've gone through multiple different versions, and I think I'm getting closer to something that actually might work. I've narrowed down, I think Undead is the perfect kind of adversary for the first time adventure. I think making sure that you have a spot for a short rest, making sure you have a spot for your heroes to be heroic, and at the end of it, you have a big boss battle, I think are some of those core things that you need. But yeah, we're just kind of working on that. Trying to get through it. Right now, I'm working on the first part where they go in and they meet the father. And I want them to be able to pull some information out of them with some skill checks or some religion checks in the area, arcana, etc. To gather more information than the father might be willing to admit. I think the insight one is this is not the first time that this has happened. I think when they went to bury a local professor, sir, about 3 years ago, this had happened. So, with insight, they're going to get the vibe that this is not the first time that this had happened. If they ask him about it, he will then reveal that when they went to bury a local professor about 3 years ago, some dead had risen before. He was just a brother at the time, and the previous cleric handled it. And he's a little bit beat up about that. Yeah, I love it in person. I started playing in person during COVID, like in between COVID 1 and COVID 2 Judgment Day. That was when I actually started picking up D&D, and I fell in love with it. So after, COVID 2 hit and we couldn't be in person, I went online. And then after the online, went back to in person after the COVID and started this group at my local game store. So it is a Tuesday group. There are plenty of people and discords and groups at your local game stores and libraries. You will not be solo for long, I guarantee. Guarantee it. There are new players that join our Tuesday night group every single day. Every single day. We get more interest. We get more people on the Discord. We get people who drop by and see what it's like, and we just draw them into the games and make sure that they have a great time. And that is what you should look for when you're looking for another game. Yep, I'm modifying my character. No problem. Just make sure, Justin, that you only have access to the 2024 backgrounds and that you're only using the 2024 backgrounds for the new campaign. Yeah, we actually have. I'm from Connecticut, so within my radius that I know of, and my radius, I'm saying within probably a 20-minute drive, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 different D&D groups that meet, most of them like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, at game stores on a regular basis. And then one of them's at a library. We have someone in West Hartford who runs a gaming group there. Then they do all kinds of things. They do D&D and Star Trek and all those other fun things. Our group on Tuesdays does primarily D&D, even though we're going to be kind of branching out a little bit this year. The last Tuesday of every month is going to be a different game for people to try, or an opportunity for people who have never DM'd to try their hand at DMing. So I'm really excited about that. So I think Arcana is going to be, there is a latent necromantic. I think that's good, and I think religion. Figure out religion. So that's additional things that they can get from the Father. Yeah, 100%. It's a place called The Portal in Manchester, Connecticut. So that's where our Tuesday night game is. In addition to that, I play online, and I also run a kids game there once a month. At the end of the month, the last Sunday of every month, we do a kids game. Me and a couple of the other DMs. Are you in Connecticut? There's a lot of really good gaming groups in the UK too. I have a cousin who's in the Netherlands who was looking for a gaming group because he read a lot of the Forgotten Realms books and started watching Critical Role and was getting really excited and started talking to me about it. And he was able to find a group. Absolutely no problem. The beauty of the modern love of D&D and how excited people are about it is it's easy to find not only a group, but a group that fits your play style. Like, you're going to find that you have a play style. There are people who are tactically minded, that are role play minded, that want adventure or mystery, exploration, and there are different D&D games for these different things. And, you know, I try to run the gambit because I run in a game store for people who might not necessarily have played D&D before, so I try to give a little bit of everything in my games. A little bit of exploration, a little bit of combat, a little bit of role-playing, so that way they can kind of develop what they like and what their taste is. Yeah. All right, so... as the players enter the antechamber, there is a large wooden bookcase slid against a door. Perception at the door reveals a sound of shuffling. Like that. Never hurts to try. The players can easily move the bookshelf, revealing the door to the catacombs. Thanks, Justin. We try. We really do. We love playing D&D, and we love helping new players play D&D. And that is a super important thing for us. So, Taryn, monster type, I believe, is going to be undead. This is going to be a first adventure for a DM running a game of Dungeons & Dragons for possibly new players. Over the summer, the Daggerheart playtests, first kind of quick start adventure, really made me realize that there is not a good first adventure for D&D. They have the starter sets and boxes, but for someone who's running D&D, they're not super well written, and they don't really lead a DM through the rules. They kind of expect him to read the whole thing, understand the rules, and then kind of go that route. And there's nothing to lead someone through, like, this is your first combat. These are the things you do. This is a spot that your players need to roleplay. This is how you pull roleplay out of them. So, it is going to be a low-level adventure, most likely level 1. With that, I've kind of decided on undead because it is one of those monster types that are a problem that needs to be solved. There is no let's talk to the goblins. Let's try to get the kobolds on our side. It is undead. There is one thing you can do with undead, and that is kind of kill them. So lower CR monsters, zombies, skeletons, even up to possibly some of the CR1 stuff, shades. I'm excited to see where some of the new monsters come up in the new monster manual. I know they're going to have a flame skeleton, which is going to be a spellcasting skeleton, which I'm really excited about. That can explode when it's killed. So if that is not too high of a CR, that is definitely, I think, going to be included because I think it's just cool. General story is kind of been flexible. This is my third or fourth time trying to write this adventure, and each time I kind of scrap it and go back. There was one time I tried a pirate adventure, The Walk at Dusk. Was fairly written out, but I just reached some spots. It was written with the basis of the 2014 rules, and I just reached some spots where I think it was I got a little bit into the writing, and it was a little bit complicated for a first-time DM to run. And the big thing is there wasn't really a good spot for a short rest. So I really wanted a good spot for a short rest. So while it was good, I wanted to kind of take a look at it from the beginning again. And write it more as a D&D adventure too. I think there was a lot of writing that I put in there that was very Daggerheart-esque, and I think it pulled away from what D&D is at its core. There was a lot of forced roleplay, which D&D is great for roleplay, but I wanted something that was D&D. You know, some puzzles, some traps, D&D, and not Daggerheart's fantastic, but again, D&D is not Daggerheart, and Daggerheart is not D&D. Thanks. Yeah, I want something. We have in our Tuesday game we have a lot of people who want to try DMing, and I want to write something that if I handed it to them, it would be like me running it for them. Like it would, if they start on page 1 and they go to page 5, it is going to lead them through the things that they need to do, when to prompt for skill checks, what those skill checks mean, how you do them, like, so that they have a place to do it. Like, it's explained to them, because like reading through the basic rules is fine, but at the same time, it is a lot to remember something that is as rules heavy as D&D for a first-time DM. That is there is a large barrier to entry for dungeon mastering, and there shouldn't be. There's so many people who are so terrified of getting the rules wrong, they don't do it. I was afraid of that. I was afraid of getting the rules wrong in my game, and it took an experience at a table with a DM that just was not good for me to go, I can do better than this guy. I 100% can do better than this guy, and I should be DMing because I want to keep my players fun at the first and foremost. I want them to have fun at the table and feel heroic and do all these things and not kind of fall into the traps that can happen with some players. So that is the reason for the adventure, and I would love to get it done. But again, it is something that is, I think it takes time to perfect. And I think once I have the 2024 SRD, it'll be easier to figure out exactly what I can put into it. And that way I can kind of perfect what I'm doing, because I want, things like conditions, and I want things like ability checks and weapon masteries and all these things to be able to explain them in this document to a new DM. And I think in order to do that, I need the SRD. Because I think most of it will be in the SRD, but again, it's not coming out till after the Monsters Manual, so I just write the adventure now. Alright, so players can easily move the bookshelf, revealing the door to the catacombs. I think we just put them in combat here. I think the door breaks and we have combat. The door cracks in half and flies off its hinges. Players with... No, we won't do that. We could make them do a dexterity saving throw, but I think since we're throwing them into combat, I don't want them to get hit by the door or anything like that. I want them to... Yeah, I think it's just going to be straight up combat. Pouring through the door. Attracted by the sound of the moving bookcase. So, I think since this is a first combat, let's not go crazy. I think if this is 4 players, it should be 2 zombies, 2 skeletons. Here we explain rolling initiative. So in the rules, this is where we'll explain rolling initiative, skill checks. So we have a spot where we explain skill checks, we have a spot where we explain rolling initiative, and our first combat. It's a controlled space, so it could be a simple size room. And I think that just smattering coming through as a first combat will be fine. Down here we should number those. We should just... We'll number these. Probably put... Let's probably switch these. So this will be 1. I want to do less rooms. I just decided I wanted to do less rooms. So I want this to be a big room, and I want this to be a big room. So that way it is a little bit easier. Wait to delete you. Cloud save timeout. What that is. I'm just gonna pull all this to the side. Perfect. That's what I wanted. So now we have less rooms for a new player to deal with, or a new DM to deal with. So we're gonna just have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's a 5-room dungeon. It's a classic. I like this. Perfect. And I think, though, there's going to be a little tunnel coming out of here that will show that whoever was in here is no longer in here. Like that. Back here. Boom. That's gone. That's in. Alright, we're not going to worry about the combat right now. We're just going to go down into our crypt. So room 1, tools lay on the floor. This is where the cleric above kind of dropped everything and then ran for it. What do they call the incense burner thingies? I know there's a name for it. We're not going to worry about it. We're not going to have it hold us up. Incense holder. So, religion, low-level cleric, not wearing his holy symbol. Because it lays on the floor in the first room. Bodies lay in peace along the walls. So only certain individuals are raised. I like the idea that this, I mean, normally catacombs and things like that will have 2 or 3 different types of people interred there. They're going to have the old clergy. They're going to have people of power. And I think the clergy are not raised. So everybody that they see that is not a zombie will have a holy symbol on it. And that'll require a little investigation. So when they come across a body that doesn't have a holy symbol on it, they know that it is actually currently undead. Could be interesting. I like that. I like that. Each body still is and that'll be investigation or religion check. So first combat, and then we have post-combat. Post-combat, none of the creatures are wearing holy symbols. So if they ask after the fact, we know definitively that this was something. You won't tell them up front, so they kill the zombies. They're anything special about the zombies? Nope, they're normal zombies. They go down they find these bodies with holy symbols, they ask, did the first 4 individuals have holy symbols? No, they did not. When they go from room 1, which will be what I will call like a safer space where they can spend a little time there, and they go into either 2 or 3, there are going to be bodies there that are laying in wait. That if they solve this, they solve the holy symbol thing, and they go into the next room, and there's a bunch of tables in this room. 4 of them have holy symbols, and then all of a sudden 2 of them don't. They know that these are going to be risen, that they are there just laying in wait. Been instructed to wait for whatever comes down and attack it with prejudice. So it is a trap for them. I also like the fact that doing 1-on-1, like doing room 2 as corporeal undead and then room 3 as an non-corporeal, like that's like an urn space or a space of people who their religion believes that they should be interred as dust or ash. So let's do that. So this is still in room 1. So 2, I like. 2 is going to be bodies lay in 6 on tables in the center. Each rest. So 6 bodies lay on tables in the center of the room. We can just do some. How have I done them before? I think I've just done it as a wall tool. Yeah. Just so we have a little visual. For our DM. This will be a little bit off, but I'm fine with that. There we go. Perfect. This is going to be space 2. As we make changes, we throw it in our OneNote. Delete, control paste. Alright, so each ornately dressed. Perfect. What's the juicy corporeal undead at like a CR1? Like what is, again, we're looking at 2024s, but I want to like fewer targets, you know, not just your classic small light stuff. Ooh, crawling claws. Because we just did some zombies. We just like kind of, this is also giving them 3 or 4 combats before a short rest, possibly. I think that's fine. This is D&D. This is what we want. We want cool combats. We want to face things. Just two straight up ghouls. Or just a ghoul. A ghoul and a couple skeletons. And then do shadows on the other side. I think that might be the way to go. joined by some skeletons. Perfect. All right, I like that. Obviously, we don't need to take a... When we are really nailing down the nitty-gritties of it, we could talk about when the ghoul comes up and then when the skeletons come out of the walls. But this is also one of those things. The body that rises is not wearing a holy symbol. The players can attack before combat starts, trivializing this whole combat, which would be pretty cool. I'm glad, Justin. We're very excited as well. This campaign is going to be a good one. We're really excited. This is good parts of both the desert, which was our first Hexcrawl campaign, and then our second campaign, which was the Disc of Eternity. The Frontier is going to be a good combination of those two things, I think. A lot of cool exploration things, a lot of stuff like that. So, we'll see. All right, so now 3 just Shelves of Urns. Line this room. Multiple more ornate ones. Rest on pedestals around the room. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna probably have to leave to pick up my kid in about 15 minutes, but I will stream a little bit later today as well, working on this and helping out players in my new campaign. But let's keep plugging away while we still got time. All right, Shelves of Urns line this room. Multiple more ornate ones rest on pedestals around the room. And for this one, I think I wanted to go, shadows. Because it's at least 2 strength drains. And you could do 2 shadows, and then they just can't attack other... I think that's what I'm going to do. And then we'll just have to take a look at what the new... Because this has a bunch of resistances, which is fine. It's a low enough amount of hit points. 16 hit points is not a ton. So I think, yeah, for now we're just going to put it in as shadows, and then we'll deal with it when the monster manual comes. 2 shadows emerge. To attack the players from 2 urns. Easy, simple. I think that should be if the players... Again, the triggers I think can be varied. When a player disturbs an urn, or they try to open the door to room 4. So So they can hypothetically go in, go out, it doesn't get triggered, they go into 2, they get attacked, go into 4, and then they don't have to do this combat. You know, I don't want to force them into combats. But if they choose to, that is what they'll face. I think that's a good set of plans. Now, 4, I think a puzzle trap combo might be cool. And then we have the secret passage in 2 that we have to figure out. So I think we need to hide the keys somewhere. So he drops his keys, and then the keys go... Keys could be in an urn. No, I don't think keys could be on the ghoul, but that's just being risen. I think ghouls could also... The keys could also just not be there. So at 4, I want this to be a puzzle. This is a room the father doesn't go in. I think that... I think that can also be some information for the beginning. Because that's where the body of what will be the issue is. That is tunneled out. That he goes down there, he incense and blesses basically room number 2, room number 3. He'll walk through room number 4, but no one goes through the door into room number 5. So we don't even need to worry about the keys. So the players will need to figure out how to get into room number 5. Either through the secret passage that even the cleric doesn't know about, that the players will have to discover. It's very D&D, and that's what we were going for. We got puzzles, we're gonna have traps. All right, I will be back in 1 second. I just need to go use the restroom. There we go. I am back. I am going to have to leave in about 15 or so minutes to pick up my son, but let us keep soldiering along. Leads to the room. Father doesn't go in. I like a puzzle opens the trap door. We're going to allow it to be picked. We're going to allow it to be trapped. Door is locked and trapped. I am back. So if the door is locked and trapped, the puzzle that unlocks the door will be on the far wall. So on this wall, there will be a simple fucking puzzle. I think a map of could that be that simple? A map of the continent is frescoed, is displayed as a fresco on this wall. Each point of interest can be depressed and a light clicking noise is heard. That's the trick. That's the trick. Because those buttons do nothing. In the key of the map, a compass points the wrong direction. This can be rotated, and when it points correctly, the door unlocks. Because do not overcomplicate your traps, guys. Ever. Just don't. Because even preschool level puzzles will take battle-hardened puzzle masters 3 hours to figure out. Alright. Here we go. So when it points the correct direction, the door unlocks. The door is locked and trapped. Is this going to disengage the trap that is on the door? I like the idea that the trap itself was put in after the lock on the door was created, so that in case somebody figured it out, the trap still happened. I like that. A simple trap runs along the top of the door. A wire, once broken, purple gas. And then we can figure out what that purple gas does after the fact. Something simple, something easy. Again, we're not looking to overcomplicate this. We're not looking to destroy people. Now we have the room. So when they go into 5, I like something ominous. Four coffins. 3 coffins. 3 cement coffins. Lay on the floor. 1. One of them, the lid is cracked and laying on the ground. Do we do another combat? So thinking about it, we've done 1 combat. There are possibly 2 other combats. These are not hard combats. Then we do a combat here. Then you get a short rest, and then it is final boss combat. I think that works. So what are they going to fight? What are they going to fight? We're going to take a look at this. Then I'm probably going to go pick up my kid. I will be back on probably in about 20 minutes, half hour. If you guys want to rejoin me, be sure to follow me. Subscribe so you know when I am back, and we can keep working on this adventure. We could do an ogre. A vampire. I don't want to diminish what is going to be the boss encounter at the end, so I want something gassed. CR2 gassed. Like a gassed. One hard, one easy. Yeah. Because I'm also trying to space this for about 3 hours. So you have 1 combat at the top of the stairs. You have possibility 2 more. You're getting a little bit combat heavy. That can definitely slow things down. We could also just make it a... We could teach our players a lesson and have something that they should not attack. But that's a bad idea when we've asked them. Maybe something that they just can't attack. Put on my shoes while I think about this. I think a white's a good idea. I also like the idea of something that is explaining what is happening here. Like, there's a tunnel in the back of this cave that this individual just kind of claws their way out of with their son. So maybe 1 coffin is sealed and the other 2 are open. Some necromantic energy turns it on. This son who is interred here opens the sarcophagus. Him and his father kind of dig his way out. yeah, I'm going to give you a quick overview, Alex, and then I actually have to run and pick up my kid, and then I'll be back a little bit later. But basically, I am trying to write a first adventure for someone who wants to DM a game of Dungeons & Dragons. Over the summer, I played Daggerheart, which has one of the best first-time quick start adventures that I have ever had the experience of playing, and realized that there is not a good quick start adventure for Dungeons & Dragons. The starter sets do not adequately equip DMs to run their first game. So I want to create an adventure that drips of D&D and allows DMs to start from page 1, run it to page 5 or whatever it's going to be, have a good understanding of what they're supposed to do, as well as the rules that they're going to need to understand to do those things. So that is kind of what I've been working on. You know, I think Undead is the perfect low-level monster for something like this. You know, coming up with a few combats, having puzzles, having traps, having these things that are at their core D&D, so that a DM can experience them one after another, after another, after another. Excuse me. And understand the rules a little bit at a time. Because right now the starter adventures require the DM to have some understanding of the rules. They expect them to read the rules booklet and understand it in order to run the game of D&D. And that is not the way that it should be. It should be very much, so these are your players. They're going to do this, and then we're going to get to an ability check. This is how we run an ability check. Yeah. 100%. And just something that goes, this is an ability check, this is how you roll it, this is how they figure it out, and then this is the result. Cool. That's how you do ability checks. You can refer to this section at these points in the book. Now you have a combat. This is how you do initiative. This is how we roll initiative. This is how we line it up. Cool. Now we're in combat. This is how combat's going to run. This is your monster stat block. This is what your players can do. This is how you help those players. They're pre-made characters that you're able to say, hey, the best thing for you to do in this situation is use this ability. So you can help them have a good time at the table. That's not something that exists. There is no spot in any book that says, look at the barbarian and say, this is a great spot to rage. It just doesn't exist. So that is what I'm trying to create. And this is my third or fourth rewrite. Yeah, and the stuff that people recommend for first-time DMs just is not that good. It just isn't. Flat out. You know, Lost Minds is fantastic. It is incredibly well written. It is a lot of great things, but it is not perfect for first-time DMs. For someone who is bringing players to the table who have never played D&D before. The first time someone sits at a table, it should not be for character creation. You should play D&D so they have an understanding of what D&D is in a way that is comfortable and easy. But I need to go pick up my kid from school. So that is what I'm going to do, and then I will get him settled, and I will probably be back on around 3 for anyone who wants to join me again. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been great talking to you all. I'm very excited that I'm rewriting this adventure again, and hopefully this time it'll stick, but we are waiting for that SRD to come out to see what we can put into this adventure to guide our players through that process. But thank you all, and we will see you next time.